It's for mine.
We are live.
What I thought.
Hey, oh, hold on. I'm going to show off my cup too. This is what we're doing. Right here. Good to be queen. Yeah. Now I know it says coffee, but will nobody have time to make coffee tonight? So we're having tea instead. So, hi, everybody. Hey, long time no see. And I mean like long time. Yeah. And we're back. We're here. We're way better. And can you stop talking just for a sec? I meant to say stop singing. Anyway, but I want to just go back to we've been gone for a long time. And during that time, we've had a lot of changes. We've had 2 babies. It's been that long. Yeah. We've had 2 babies. We've had tons of turmoil and ups and downs, and we're going to get into that later. We're not going to get into it. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about it later. Not this conversation. But the important part is we're back. We're still here. And so, for those of you, thank you. For those of you who are not sure who we are, my name is Vesta, and this is my lovely, sexy partner, Umoja. Oh yeah, look at you.
Okay. I don't have a good side.
And here's the thing about us. We like to have conversations about Black people, Black topics, and just all around Blackness. And that's who our conversations are about. That's what our conversations are for. We are not experts. We don't have the answers to everything. This is our conversation. We're going to agree sometimes, and sometimes we're not going to agree. And that's okay. We don't talk about these conversations with each other ahead of time in general. We say, this is what we're going to talk about. We'll come up with an outline about it. And then we kind of just leave it like thinking about it on our own individual time. And then we come together and we have this conversation about it. And this is Black Couples Coffee and Conversation. We did change our name a little bit, but here we are. So, did you have anything else you wanted to add to it?
That was still a good introduction, dog.
Thank you.
That was a good ass introduction.
Thank you.
That's all I'm saying.
So are we ready to jump into it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So today, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, we're gonna talk about I'm hilarious, actually. Hilarious. Today we're going to talk about gender wars, and gender wars is the man versus women. Who did what to who, and why do we not like each other or like each other or whatever? I'm going to adjust this camera just a little bit because I feel like you're just a little bit. I want to see more of you. Please.
It's enough.
There we go. I feel like this.
You've done it enough.
I want us to be equal.
You know what I just thought? You know what? You are so childish. It's crazy. You know what I just thought about though? And I thought about it the other day, or whenever it was, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or whatever. I was thinking because you know how like from you talking about yoga to all of a sudden the ad pop up, somewhere that said yoga. 2, you like always watch. Let's say if you always watch old school R&B on your YouTube, that's what'll be in your algorithm more than anything else. It doesn't show you what your biases, right?
Right.
So it made me think of like I wonder is the gender war like popular like in other racial cultures?
Oh.
If like you see a bunch of videos of white men talking about how bad white women are, or white women, or you see Asian women or men, or any, like seriously, and I say that because like I think it's smart to compare some of the challenges that you have with somebody else, not to just compare them, but to see like, especially if they've gotten out of it or if they don't have the same problems, like why? You know what I'm saying? Because we all live in the business of life, right? So why? So I'm thinking about that when I say that, like how sometimes we could like identify this is exactly why it's like this for Black people. But sometimes it's like, well, it's like this for some people else on a different level, but they overcame it or they did something different and it's working. So how the hell do we do that? I don't even know where I was going, but I just felt like
I don't know, because as you were saying that, I'm like, don't you think it's really obvious why we have the issues we have in our community and why that doesn't apply to any
before
other
I talk
community?
about how I feel about it, I just want to put it into that context. Like I wonder, I legit wonder, you know what I'm saying, if it's the same type of issues in that community. Like I'm talking about so public though, like where it's like really popular on social
Right.
media.
I got you. Because I mean, I think in general, there's a whole thing with men versus women in general. You know, I see it a lot on Instagram where, you know, they're like, oh, men do this and men do that, or, you know, there's a lot of jokes about
just the difference.
You know,
I know what you're saying.
But I don't think that it's at the end of the day, they're going home to each other and they're happy. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just general poking fun and stuff like that. So
what we're talking about? You said gender wars.
We're talking about gender wars. So I think both of us agree that this does not promote us as black people being together as couples. That it's not a good thing for our community at all. Do you want to get into like how you think?
Yeah, kind of. You know, I think that's what bothers me the most about it, though, is that when you hear it, like it might be something funny, it might be something entertaining in some way, right? Mm-hmm. But you never hear it. It's never the energy towards like, how do we make it right for us to be together? It's never that. Mm-hmm. And without it being said too, you know, equally, it's not like, well, sometimes you'll like blatantly hear him say like, I understand why he went to the Asian or to the Hispanic. You can't be mad at the brother or sister or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's not like it's an overt mission to where they're just like, no, y'all shouldn't be with each other. Y'all should be with each other. However, the message is that it sends all the time is just like some dirtbag or fuck shit for a real technical term that's going on in a relationship. Or when it's like interracial, it's like, oh, the brother didn't beat up a white girl now, or something like that. Like I hear very few stories about like the white counterpart doing wrong to the black counterpart, and it's like, this is why we shouldn't be with them. I rarely hear that from these people.
I was gonna say I feel like I have seen a few stories about the white counterpart doing something to the black counterpart, but then maybe but the response is never like, I'll never go to a white man again.
Right.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. There have been a couple of times I'm in a couple of women's groups in Facebook, and there has been a couple times where there's not that many, but there are a few black women who are like, oh no, I did that once, I will never do that again.
Right. Yeah, it seems like when I hear the like horror stories from that, it's usually on an individual level where somebody will tell me about it or I hear it from them, and then I still be like, but like, you know, like your online personality is not like that. Like you act like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you know the truth, it's just interesting. But yeah, for the people, it's just like, I'll be like, damn, bro, like none of it just ends with like, black people, y'all need to do better to be together. It's like, y'all don't work together, you know, or what's your value and stuff like that, and all the others. Now we can go on and on, but is there something specific you want to get to about it?
No, I think that just to kind of get into like the next part of it, when we're talking about gender wars, it kind of leads into how that doesn't promote, you were just saying, like it doesn't promote people being together as black couples. And then I think the other things that add to it are when you go onto these different platforms and you see where they're promoting an interracial couple. So things like on social media, they, you know, there's the promotion of like interracial couples. I wanted to, because I'm not talking about necessarily like not being with somebody of your own race. That's not really what I'm getting into. What we're talking about here is that how it's everything but being together as black people is being promoted, and how these gender wars add to that. Because the gender wars, and when we say the gender war, we're talking about in the black community. So we're talking about like black women saying these niggas ain't shit. They not doing shit. my baby daddy ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? And dudes talking about these bitches ain't shit, and they want this and they want that, and they, I'd rather just be with a white woman because she doesn't give me any problems or whatever. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. So when I'm getting into the next part, I'm not talking about the interracial part. It's just that it adds into our conversation. So let's social media
Mm-hmm.
kind of promotes gender wars. And I don't know, like, can you give an example? Can you think of an example offhand? Like, I know, like, somebody will post something about men. Okay, for example,
Oh shit.
on one of the Facebook pages that you and I are both a part of, someone had gone on there, and it's a black page. Someone had gone on there with a post uplifting. It was a woman. She went on there with a post uplifting black men.
That's so sweet.
You would think that that shouldn't be a problem, that people will be on there, yes, I agree with you, or thank you, sis, or whatever. No. There was, now mind you, there were some of that. There was a ton of women on there talking about, what about the women? And these, what are you talking about? These black, they're like, these black men ain't shit.
That
Blah
never,
blah blah blah.
that never fails though. When somebody could literally post something that says this is a question strictly for the black women, and invariably you'll have some men come on there and say, I know it was just a question for the sisters, and vice versa, right?
Right.
It could be like, I just want to hear from the brothers with kids, and they had them for by themselves over the last weekend. And you'll hear all kind of people. You'll hear people coming in like, well, it wasn't last weekend, but it's like, damn, just follow instructions. So that's like, and it's always like, well, if it was a woman, it was always. Like, what about women? What about men? Yeah, that's just typical. But it's just wild though how like that's what get us excited though. Like it's so popular. Like I've seen people who I listen to on some other stuff, and then all of a sudden they throwing in the gender war stuff, gender wars, and really a lot of it is just like fantasy shit. Honestly, a lot of it is fantasy and entitlement stuff when it really comes down to it. And something I noticed personally, like before I even met you, is that like I start seeing people in general start being intolerant about relationships. Period. Like there is no commitment. There is no like struggle. Like no, popular. It's always been popular to say I could do better bad by myself, or I could do better without you, or something like that. But I'm talking about to the level of like, I seen a story the other, and no, that's way too out. I was going to talk about a woman. It was a story somebody showed me at work. It was a story. This lady, I think in South America, saw her husband looking at pictures and stabbed him, killed him. Damn. Literally, this is a true story, right? I was like, what the hell, right? Like straight up. But this is the worst part about it. The pictures he was looking at was from her when they were younger. This is a true story, man. This is a true story. You could look it up. I don't know if you'll find it because I know it was a Spanish woman, and it was shown to me by another a Spanish woman, and it was in Spanish. So it could be all some Spanish news, but this is a true story, right? But my thing is when it comes to real relationships, right? Any of them, you don't have to work for that shit, and you don't have to struggle at some point on something. I don't care if you both come in with $10 million a piece, y'all got everything. Y'all gonna struggle about something, about how you structure the kids, about if you're gonna worship for religion or something. It's gonna be some kind of struggle, right? So it's like, but it's like everything that is being fed is like, nope. If she don't do what you want her to do, or what she brings to the table, or he got to be able to do this, the provider, the protector, and he got to be sensitive, and he got to do my nails because I don't like other people touching my feet, and yada yada. And it's like some really outlandish stuff, and it's like this is why y'all people not happy because all them people who we talking about it most of the time ain't got no woman, ain't married, and just mad at everybody because they expect everybody to kiss their ass. You need to grow up,
right?
That's
I think music definitely adds to the problem.
That's a good one.
A lot of the lyrics, I'm not even going to say today, because even the songs from like back in my day.
Your day? You said back in your day. I was just agreeing with what you said.
Back in our day.
Okay. Moving right along. You're so young, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, but even the music, um, 80s, 90s, even that music, there was a lot of stuff that, like, you got bitches ain't shit but O's and tricks, and and I don't know so much if there was a lot, if there was women talking shit about men necessarily.
No, you will hear a song where it's about a song about like an individual. Like the songs back in the day, mostly like there was obviously some raunchy ones, but they were more like freaky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like more like freaky songs, like we gonna get nasty tonight, right? There was a couple player songs, but the ones for women would be like about they man hurting them or some situation where they got caught for something. It wasn't like in a general thing like, nah, these niggas, if you ain't licking my booty,
right?
You know what I'm saying? If you ain't get like, no, all y'all, any of y'all.
So
you know what I mean? No, it was,
but the men, but there were a lot of songs by men,
mm-hmm.
and that definitely talked shit about
major
women.
Shit. That was what was popular about hip hop back then.
Yeah.
Especially West Coast hip hop. It was bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
Right. Which I think is why these days a lot of women have owned the word bitch, and they call each other bitch. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have the same effect necessarily that it had previous.
Not at all. Nowadays, you call one the bitch, you be like, you the bitch. Like, y'all just be some bitching motherfuckers.
Where your bitch at? Call your mama's a bitch,
right,
bitch.
Right.
Yeah. So, but music definitely, and the music now, definitely talks a lot about one sex talking shit about the opposite sex. It's
a lot.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Movies and TV. I mean, you have. It's almost like you can do better with a white man, or you could do better with a white woman. And I think that's promoted a lot on movies and on TV and stuff like that. I
think when people hear that, I don't think they really understand or get like symbolism, and more important, just simple marketing and advertising. Like that's how most propagandas are spread, through media, obviously from movies to literal commercials. Now I open up my little chess app and it'll be insurance thing or what it'll be anything, but it'll be an interracial couple. And usually it's a lily white dude with a beautiful sister. Like if we're being honest, right? Like look at these car commercials and everything. And it sounds like we're like making up some conspiracy, but if you understand anything about propaganda and advertisement, like that shit, they do that shit because it works. Billboards and stuff like that, and like what you see is what they're trying to feed you. Like I can't be the only one who noticed that like it was a bunch of influx in I ain't gonna start going all the way there. But when certain social shit happens, like you will start seeing more positive images of something.
Right.
Said like that.
And to go back to what I was trying to say, because I couldn't like put it in words what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say was, because we are sitting here and fighting against each other, then we're turning to other races to get what we want. Because instead of trying to work things out with each other and build our community, it's like, I can just go somewhere else.
Well, it's so, and that's like a bigger issue than we think.
Yeah.
It's like, because if we're being honest about it, if we're being really honest about it, a lot of us, whether we know it, whether it's conscious, whether it's extremely conscious or subconscious, we have devalued Black too, because we see what's around us. Look at how Black people get treated. Look at how Black people have to work hard over it. Look at how, so if that's what you're seeing, like no matter what, you devalue, no matter how proud we say we are and everything else, like by and large, we do see stuff in ourselves that it's like, fuck, why we gotta be in people? Because we're human. Let's just stop fronting. Like it's evident in so much of our behavior, whether we want to admit it or not. But with that being said, it's a lot easier for somebody to say, man, I'm gonna go get with this person because they have more clout. They have more, let's call it racial clout than I do. I can go somewhere with this white woman and these niggas might not like it, but they're gonna know I got something. I got this trophy. Or I can go somewhere with this exotic Asian and people gonna think that I'm like better than somebody else because I got this. When in fact, like it's so many wonderful Black men and women, man. Like so many of them who dope and really about something, and we just don't talk about it enough. I don't think we talk about the positive side of that. at all.
I agree.
That's all. Like really, really, I just don't think there's like any balance when it comes to the quote unquote gender war stuff.
All right. This one is gonna piss some people off, but
I'm already listen.
it's the
What
truth.
you about to get me mad about?
I think that a lot of things that encourage the gender war is the LGBTQ community.
No,
I
why
said
you
it.
gonna bring them in this? That's crazy. We ain't got nobody following us. We ain't gonna now. We gonna get kicked off. She was mean.
I meant it.
How though? For no, seriously, I'm curious.
It's not a lie.
You didn't tell me.
It's the truth.
I remember you mentioned it, but I
Yes.
don't remember you.
And this
explaining
is
what you
why.
meant.
Because I hear this a lot from our LGBTQ community. Mind you, I love y'all. I really do. But there's some things that are being said that I think are causing more of the gender war. I see a lot of angry Black women and men who say things about the opposite sex, I think because you just don't like them. I think that there's a lot of jealousy, I think, in the LGBTQ community about wanting to be seen as something that you're not seen as. And I think that that's frustrating. And I think that that causes some lashing out and some name calling and some hate. There's a lot of hate going on there. I see it a lot. So there's a lot of I have seen it more in women than men. And that's not to say that it's more than the other. I think that I've just been exposed to more women than men in this type of a thing. But there's a lot of women, oh my God, and feminism. So a lot of, and I think a lot that feminism goes almost hand in hand with a lot of the things in the LGBTQ community. Not always, and I recognize that. Not always, but I feel like it does. Remember that? I feel. That doesn't mean that it's a fact. I feel based on my experiences and what I've seen.
I don't disagree with you. I just think that it deserves a bigger conversation. That I think it will be derailing the topic at hand, though. But I've never heard it said straight up like that. I never even thought, because I don't even think about them. Because when I think about the gender war, I just think I'm talking about specifically from men against women.
I am
too.
You
know what I'm saying?
From men against women.
But you're talking about it from a different perspective.
From women against men.
Yeah, and you throw in the LGBTQ too.
Well,
so
because I think that okay, I'm just going to throw it out there. I think that a lot of masculine women have a lot of negative things to say about men. And I don't know if that stems from them wanting to be in a man's place and want to be seen as a man to replace a man. But
that's just how the brain works.
No, because you have couples where there's one that wants to be perceived as the father and one that wants to be perceived as the mother. And but then see, this is one thing that I just never understand, and I'm not even going to get into it, but I just want to say I don't understand this. Like, talk so much shit about men, but then want to be a man, and it's confusing to me.
You're so deep.
I'm just saying.
That's just so deep.
It's really confusing to me, and I'm going to leave that there. Because that's a whole nother conversation that we're not going to get into today.
I just don't, honestly, everybody can do what they're doing. It's really just an observation that I want to make, is that it's not enough like positive black couples. And like most people hearing this could probably point to a page where it's like a black love page and a black couple page. And, so you definitely can, right? You definitely can see it, but it seems like what's more popular is to say black love, but behave in a manner that says that you hate or equal one another as counterparts.
Do you think that that's all around, or do you think that's just here where we are? Yeah, we're in Portland, Oregon.
Well, I was thinking that too, right? Like, some of this stuff regional, right? However, like if you look if you like look online and what's posted and what's around, like all the
Yeah.
mess is all over, right? It's not like it's
That's
everything's
true.
on the West Coast or everything's in the Pacific
That's true.
Northwest or something like that. So it's definitely
I think there's more. I think there's more Black people in other places, and so even though it's still a thing, when you look at the ratio, it still seems like there's more Black people who are in agreements
mhm,
with what we're saying.
mhm.
But then there's also still that
Well,
large
and I do think it's
number that
different when you get to different regions where
Mhm.
there's more of a where there's more of a
more of a Black community
yeah
together,
just to say
not spread out all over the place.
no that's what I'm trying to say. I was trying to think of a word to
Yeah.
say it, but that's thank you. I do think is different because we're in closer proximity to each other, so the relationships will look different.
Mhm.
But I think just the negative is just like so much negativity towards it these days. Like a lot. It's a lot. You know, it really is.
So
It really is.
let's go to the next part where we're talking about what are some of the things that you hear. What are some of the things that you hear being said?
I mean, it's just random different stories. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. So I think it was about. I think it was about the white comedian who had a black wife and they broke up or something like that.
Oh, what's his name?
Gary Owens.
Yeah,
I think
Gary
his name
Owens.
is Gary
Yeah.
Owens. I can't
Yeah, yeah,
remember his wife's name, but they broke up, and it was a sister who I wasn't referred to her, but she was on a video of one of my buddies, and I looked at her page, and like she had did a screen where she was talking about something, and I was just reading the comments just to see what the community looked like and what the energy was, and like one of them had said something about like she hopefully she gets something, and referring to the white dude called him, I can't remember what she called him, but basically was saying that she didn't got he didn't acted like a white Dusty. See, and what that told me was that because she was the Dusty was supposed to be the brother, right? Feel me. So what she did, I hope y'all hear me right. Seriously though, I wish I would have screenshotted her or something, but he was like she got he did her like a white something like saying that like a white fuckboy or something like that, right? And I was like, that's interesting. She wouldn't even talk bad about the white boy like she'd do the brother. To talk bad about him, she had to put him on the same level as a black man. It was crazy
That's
to me, right? But
horrible.
see, like people don't even get that. That's I don't even, and that's where like that unconscious bias come from, like because people don't even know that they do. Because if you say this to this person, she would have probably been like, like then I'm like, but you wrote that, like
Right.
that's literally what you
Right.
said,
Right.
right? So just because you got it so deeply embedded in you to be just so harsh towards your men, don't try to act like that because I know for sure somebody would be like, no, that's not. You kind of said that shit, right? If you just break through all the bullshit, but yeah, so that's like an example, and I see it a lot. Like I said, some people who I follow for different content, it just came up. It just started to come up. All the high values and low values and what you bring to the table, and it just spread, and then everything in between. And none of it is saying this is how we need to love each other, and this is what we need to do for our future generations. Like none of it ever gets back to there. It's just about me, me, me. I deserve.
Yeah.
Me again. A little bit of you and a lot bit more of me. Yeah.
Yeah, and you keep saying the what do you bring to the table
Fuck
thing.
you bring to the table.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, how is that
Huh?
bad? Like, explain like how that adds to the gender war
Well, I
and
don't
the
think-
divide between black men
don't
and
think
black
it-
women.
I don't think it's bad to say that. It's just how it's being used and what the and what's perceived, what's the undertone of it is. See, I don't think it's bad at all. Like me and you meet, somebody link us up, and me and you meet. We go on the first date, and you like, so what's up? How you doing? What do you tell me about yourself? What do you do? And I'm like, well, I got 2 kids. Neither one of them live with me. I'm staying with my uncle right now because I just lost my job. But this is what I do. I got a little education or something, and yada yada yada. But I literally ain't got nothing going on for myself. And you, at the time, is like you, whatever years old, have kids or not, but you got all your shit right, and you just want to really get back in the dating scene because now you can got your spot, whatever it is, rent, own. Your kids are straight, whatever, or you got no kids and you really trying to vibe with somebody and like start building something.
Right.
You ain't bringing nothing to the table, bro.
Right.
Unless you just look good, or if that's what you want, but like that's okay. That's stupid, right? However, though, it's like if both of y'all, you live with your auntie, you live with his uncle, y'all ain't gotta worry about it. How you gonna say what you bringing to the table? I gotta get out of my uncle's house, bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Are you like, oh no, I need me a nigga who gonna fly me first? You live with your mama. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
like, so that's where I think it comes in, and people, it'll be somebody who really need to be like going at a certain level, but they want to be on the level that they not at, and that's the thing where the whole, but everybody feels entitled to it. What you bring to the table, what you bring to the table, right?
Yeah.
Neither one of y'all got shit, and y'all worry about what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
I believe more in like, where's the struggle at though?
Mm-hmm.
Where staying with somebody through it, right? Like,
Mhm.
and really building something. Like, when does that happen if everybody's just looking for what you bring to the table,
Mm-hmm.
and how much
Mhm.
value are you bringing to me?
So what you bring to the table mentality is okay as long as it's not abused, or if it's used
You
in
got to
a
be
smart
reasonable.
manner.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just has to be reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like yeah. It's like a homeless person being like, "Bitch, you only work at McDonald's." You know what I'm saying? I need me a financier.
I need a sugar daddy,
Right? And you literally
or a
homeless.
sugar
It's
mama.
just crazy. I don't know.
Well,
it's just
so one of the things that I hear a lot that cause a lot of divide, I think, is that Black men do not protect Black women, and this is a whole conversation in itself that we're not going to not going to get into this
why
conversation.
not? Just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, but we're
Okay.
not going to get deep because that's a deep conversation, I think.
Because I might, you might be
But
surprised
so,
on how I feel about
but
it.
there. So here's the thing: there's a lot of Black women who do feel that Black men do not protect them, and I mean, I can't say that they're entirely wrong because I've seen that firsthand where Black men are not protecting Black women. And so I think that's a valid concern and a valid feeling. But are you living there? Or are you willing to open up a bit and be open to the Black men that are out there and are protectors? Because there are some Black men who just they don't give a fuck and no, they're not going to protect you. However, you're going to find that everywhere, not just in the Black community, everywhere.
So I look at it I look at it more on a macro level, and I believe that Black men, like, we're not into the protecting our women business. Maybe our woman, our mom, our
Mhm.
sisters, maybe, you know what I'm saying, our daughters and stuff like that. But black women as a whole, like, not at all, man. And I mean, on the sense of like, what do we really do? What do we really do to secure a healthy future for our Black women? You know, like in terms of a Black woman can go to school, and in high school find a company that's Black owned, an industry that's Black owned, and be like, I'm gonna go there because us as men don't seem to be too interested in providing protection on a level like that.
Mhm.
Like I said, it's more individualized, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you ain't gonna come in my home, or you mess with my woman, you snatch my woman. I look at you like, what are you doing, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's my woman. And you would even see in some other, and like you said, it definitely happens. You can
Yeah.
find some stand up,
Yeah.
it's obviously, right. But by and large, like I said, I look at it on a mass level, and therefore, when they see other races who on top, CEOs, presidents of everything, and it's because obviously they developed this for themselves to be like this. This is
Mhm.
they propaganda. Like, look, we run this shit ultimately, and y'all,
Mhm.
everybody needs to know that. Sometimes we won't let y'all know very publicly, right?
Mhm.
Like, who
Mhm.
run this shit,
Mhm.
right? And most people, but women especially, y'all can just keep it to yourselves, women. But women like men in power. They like men who they see power in, who have power, or who they see the potential to be powerful. Like, that shit is attractive. Just like women like a confident person, right? You just borderline attractive. Like, most women be like, they something about you.
And money is power.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
if you look at some of these damn people, like these damn rappers and shit, these motherfuckers is ugly as fuck. But they got money.
Bling and
Money
and
equals
else.
power. And so
Yep.
they got all the women. So you can't sit up there. I'm not, and listen, if it don't apply to you, it don't apply to you. But you can't sit up there and say that there is not a lot of women who are attracted to, look at Trump. How the fuck did he get anybody? That nigga is ugly. I'm just
Talking about my
saying.
president, man.
Anyway, I'm just saying.
But yeah. I don't even know what I was talking about. That
Sorry.
damn quick.
Sorry,
real.
you were talking about
But,
how women like men
Oh
in power.
yeah. And like as a collective, like I'll break it down to an example like this. Most non-American and even some American non-black people, if they daughter, and I'm speaking specifically to the daughters, talk about they bringing a black boy, black kid, black man home. They get ate out, might get disowned, and this is a fact. And everybody probably have a friend, a former friend
My
who
son.
could attest to this, right? Now the reason just isn't because they're black. The reason is because of the value of a black man in this country.
Mm.
And we know this. We just say racism, and don't really expound on what that means. The Vietnamese dad knows what a nigga is. He knows the value that black people have in America. He knows that the statistics that's saying this and this that's negative and is true. By design, mind you. However, this is a fact here. This is a fact here. So now that Asian, that whatever you want to say, Russian, whatever you want to say, right? They know that just as much as we know that. But we try to like act like it don't exist and everything else. And if a woman is growing up learning that man's supposed to protect, man's supposed to provide, and yada yada, and your men are the lowest on the totem pole of men, this is an issue. So therefore, you're gonna have that in your mind, like, you know, there's more opportunities over here because at least they like higher on the ethnicity or higher on the race ladder than just your average black man. So I think that's how that gets to be like that.
You know, you said something about like men are supposed to provide.
Mhm.
There's a lot of women though who don't think that say that they don't need a man to provide for them because they got it handled
Mhm. Mhm.
themselves.
Mhm.
However, a lot of those same women, if that's the case, then why are you so picky about the men that you choose? Because if you're providing everything for yourself, unless I guess they're looking for something equal so that they don't have to provide for them, but then they don't expect them to provide for them. But I don't know. Then what kind of relationship is that if you guys keep everything separate? If you don't come together, then and keep everything separate, like that just seems like a
Listen,
shitty relationship.
or that's what they want, right?
I
Like
mean, I guess if it were, I don't see how that can work.
I don't care what kind of relationship two black people got, as long as it's two black people.
Okay.
Like personally, if that's what we're talking about, right? As long as
I
it's two
think
black
that
people, because one
that
thing
I
that's
don't think that promotes a healthy
one
black
thing
relationship.
totally
I'm
get
just
it.
telling you.
Totally get that. One thing that I was just talking about the gay girl who I work with. She was just talking about some stuff that she was going through with her partner, and I was like, well, if y'all not, both of y'all don't agree with the dynamics of the relationship, then it's probably the best if y'all choosing to split,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I was like, one thing I know for sure, I was telling her like, there is somebody for everybody. Like, I don't care if you like need your toe scratched before you go to sleep. It's somebody who either likes that same shit or is like willing to do that for you, like no matter what it is, right? No matter what kind of fetishes or whatever you got, whatever kind of weirdo stuff, whatever. There's somebody out there for
Who
you.
are you to say that somebody wanting their toes scratched at night is a weird thing?
I didn't say that specifically was a
You
weird
said
thing.
it.
I did not, but I'm not scratching your motherfucking toe. That's what I'm not
Listen
gonna
here,
do.
you gonna
Unless you put it
scratch.
right with my hand at, and
You
I
gonna
just be like
scratch.
moving my finger, and you okay with that? But we not gonna be missing sleep scratching your motherfucking. You ain't gonna listen.
Don't talk about my feet.
I ain't got no more teeth. What we do? What we doing?
My feet are beautiful. Anyway. I think so. The black men not protecting black women. I think that's an argument that I hear a lot. Black men always want to choose another race of women, and that I hear a lot in the whole gender divide war thing. Um, and then that's an excuse that black men his thing. It's I hear a lot of black women say, I'm gonna date whoever I want to date because black men don't like me anyway, and black men are all out here dating white women and shit like that. So I might as well just date whoever I want to date. I'm gonna have to just go try another race because these black men ain't here ain't shit.
It sounds like hate.
I did these are things I hear. And clearly I don't feel this way. Anyway, I think
What you think?
that the abuse, by the way, we're talking about things that we hear and things that we think are causing this struggle and divide and this gender war. One of the things that I think adds to the gender war is the abuse of the words toxic masculinity and misogyny. I think that it's overused, and I think that it's not used appropriately. I think that toxic masculinity is used to describe things that aren't toxic masculinity. I actually think that many times it's used to describe what's probably typically just masculine, and I think that that's deemed as a threat to some people when a man is masculine and he is taking control and he is leading or he is a leader. I think that's I don't know why, but that's a threat to some women. And it's like, if you're confident in yourself, why are you worried about a man taking a leading role? I don't understand that. I don't know. Anyway, I think that those two words are abused a lot.
Oh, I haven't like really been looking at any content or talking to any people who use that term a lot. And I'm
throw
glad,
a post out there. Throw a post out there.
and I'm glad. I don't, something I find interesting about any black woman who talks bad about black men or blame black men for the patriarchal society that is America.
How? Black men are not in control.
And this is what I was getting to. If you were in a, if I was in a patriarchal society and I didn't have the power to make it a more egalitarian society, I would not then do what I could to destroy the men of my race, of my culture, of that patriarchal society, so that they're the lowest of the people who's supposed to be quote unquote ruling or running this patriarchal and run it. So why would you want your men to be the lowest on the totem pole? Seems like lifting them up so that they in turn, because who has the most rights in this country as women?
White women.
And then
Did you hold on? Just think about that for a second. White men are in control, and right breathing down their necks is white women. And ladies all across the board, close your ears for a second. Ladies all across the board, you know goddamn well that just because the man is sitting in front and at that top seat doesn't mean he's necessarily running everything. That's just facts.
Hold on, y'all.
Yeah, that's facts. You think that the men up there don't have any kind of influence from their partners?
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of women have a lot of influence in what happens in their households. The men in power, their women have a lot of influence in how they run things, and you can't sit up there and tell me. And these women are the ones who are raising the next generation.
I just want to
white men in power.
Yeah, I just want to stress that point. Like, see, when we're talking about like black people actually having, and see, like, it feels funny for me to talk about because I don't believe in the equality and the diversity and all that stuff. That's not it. Like black people need power, like power over something, power over some systems enough. How about that? Power enough to make your water be clean in your city because your people is terminally ill, sick, and dying from it. Mm-hmm. That kind of power, right? So that's what I'm thinking of when I say, like, what it looks like to have your men and your women going against each other, and your women talking so bad about their men in a patriarchal society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm just being very objective. We are in a patriarchal society. Everybody would agree to. And then as black men are treated by their own men, other men, and their women, or vice versa, right? If it was a matriarchal society, I just think that we should hold ourselves in higher esteem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But my point was that the white men are in power, their white women are right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a power couples basically.
Of course.
Why would we not want to put ourselves in a position where we're power couples? That just seems silly to me.
At the end of it, I just
And that's not helpful to our community at all. We can't
Right.
build. Here's the thing: we cannot build our community back up without each other. It's simple as that. And I can't say that I don't um, disagree with the fact that a lot of times women are on the front line when it comes to repairing our community, but I still think that we need the men. And no, I don't think I know. We still need our men. We need our men there with us. So anyway,
we need our women too.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a fact. Like I don't get it. Like on a personal tip. Like I don't get what people because when you in an actual relationship,
Mhm.
you know when you actually in a relationship and you have to go through some shit, you have to be honest, you have to stretch your boundaries, you have to be flexible, you have kids and everything else. When you actually in a fucking relationship, you see how hard it is. You see the reality of it. The reality of it can't be what you unless you just a heartless person and really just a sociopath. It can't just be one day like what you bring to the table. No, it's like check this out. We got bills. Somebody got to get a. Well, that's what I would think. We got bills to pay. How we gonna do this? What can I do to support you to get a job? How can we get this? And blah 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 blah. Because if not, now you can broke up a family, or you can wasted some time. Outside of I would say it's severe substance abuse, severe physical violence. Like it's hard to come from that. Honestly, it really is because that shit ruin lives and take people to different places. Ours just um, extremely dangerous, right? But it seems like we on the most pettiest of things. We on the most pettiest of things, and it's like nope, nope, nope. And then people before you talking about how bad they race of people are, and then they'd be at home by themselves, wishing they had a family, a husband, a wife, shit, a girlfriend who wasn't just a dog or a kitty.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Okay, so on the flip side, some of the things that I hear men say are black women are ghetto.
They are.
No, they're not. No, they're not. What is ghetto anyway?
That chick.
What is ghetto?
Black. No, I'm just joking. I have nothing. Um, and I think that's one of those things, though, Mama, that's so old that people don't even say it anymore. It's just like that's like baseline. That's like baseline. If you talk to defend yourself, oh, she's threatening and loud
Yeah,
and
she's
and I
loud.
feel intimidated.
Yeah.
And all that is saying it's black women is ghetto.
Yeah.
That's just baseline. Like,
Well, and then you hear like we I don't know if this is necessarily gender war, but when it said like I don't even know what a black woman wants anymore. And to be honest, like I read comments that black women say about black men, and I'm like, do y'all even like black men at all? Do you even like men? Period. Like, what's going on right now? I don't know. I don't understand it. There's a lot of I to be honest, I don't understand. Like I feel really bad for black men right now in this society that
well,
we're living in right
when
now.
you gonna start showing me the sorrow you feel for black? I'm black as a motherfucker. We'll talk about it. Huh?
Anyway,
Yeah, go back to feeling sorry for me.
I don't feel sorry for you because you got a bomb ass woman. who takes really good care of you.
Don't be telling everybody. Don't cut this off.
I'm just saying, I don't even have to sit here and listen to that shit because I already know, and he knows too.
The levels
there
of toxic
trying to act-
femininity that I
You know, toxic
endure.
nothing.
The levels.
That's your toxic. Anyway,
The levels.
Good job, Umoja. Now we have to fix the camera because he doesn't know how to be still. God.
No, it's time to go.
No, it's not time to go. But I do want to talk about this. So a lot of times I get called a pick-me, or women that have kind of the same mentality that I do get called these pick-me women because apparently because we love Black men and we're not going to sit there and talk bad about them or talk trash about Black men. So then all of a sudden we're called pick-me's. How is it a bad thing? I'm just saying, I don't understand how it's a. Kick this one more time and see what happens. Keep your feet to yourself.
Don't say it's feet.
There's a natural order to everything in the world. When that natural order gets messed up, things go into chaos. Many of us feel like there is a natural order when it comes to men and women, and that's not. And I'm not talking about like women are supposed to be washing the dishes and men are supposed to be taking out the trash. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's a certain kind of balance that happens with a man and a woman, and there's roles that are naturally that you naturally fall into as men and as women in a relationship. And I think it looks different for some relationships, but that's why you're a couple, because you do the things that work for you and you balance each other out. But still, there's that natural role, like this is my expectation of the man that I'm with. This is my expectation of the woman that I'm with. Or as a woman, I feel like I need to be in control of this, this, and this. As a man, I feel like I need to be in control of this, this, and this. And so when you share those expectations, that kind of comes into the natural order that you have as a couple. And so I think that a lot of people reject that. I think there's a rejection of natural order. And I actually think that people go out of their way to do the exact opposite. Like, I know I'm expected to do this and that men are supposed to be doing this, but just because you said that, I'm going to do it this way. And it just causes chaos because you know deep in your heart you don't belong where you don't feel good doing what you're doing. You know that shit don't feel right to you. Come on now.
I like, I agree with you to like mostly on the natural order of things, but I look at it in a sense of not like who's dominant and who's subordinate sense. I look at it as how we're supposed to complement each other, right? And I would say, right, but and that's pretty much how I look at it. Like, it seems like we want to compete with each other, and I'm like, we're supposed to complete each other, like, not compete. So yeah.
Well, you bring up that word, not you, but I'm just saying when anytime the word submission and a woman is supposed to submit to a man and this and that.
You shut the fuck up.
No. There is, I think, a certain level of submission that a woman has in a relationship. But submission doesn't mean giving up control. And I think that that's what a lot of women equate that to. I think a lot of women equate that to like having an apron and kissing their man's feet and whatever. And that's not submission at all. But the thing is, natural order, it is in a man's natural nature, for the most part, to become a leader and to take control of certain things. And
well, it seems to me when I hear, especially the submission piece, when I hear that, and the rebuttals usually come from like be in a relationship with somebody who's even worthy of quote unquote submitting
Right.
to. So it's like,
And that's the thing too.
why would
You
a
have to be
woman
smart
submit?
about that.
Why
Yeah.
would a woman submit or follow somebody who's like has no qualities that scream leadership or dominance, for lack of a better term? Like, but and then it'd be the dudes who really ain't about much, but it's like, bitch, you do what I say,
Right.
what I say, as you try to go to work and I'm sitting on the couch about to turn on the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm cussing at you because I want you to do, because I want to borrow the car. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. It's like, nah.
I think when you're in a good and healthy relationship, that submission just happens naturally. Like you don't even realize that that's what's happening. I think that it happens naturally. And then you see these things, like you even see it on TV, where this woman is controlling and dominating and whatever, and her man is just kind of like, it's kind of the opposite. Like he's just kind of like giving in to her and stuff like that. And then we look at that man and go, that motherfucker is weak as shit. And you can't say you don't, because that's how he's meant to look. He's meant to look like he's weak because he's sitting there and she's sitting there running her mouth and running everything in the household. And he's just following everything she says. And he's looked at as like this weakling. So what is it? What is it? Do you want the weakling man who, there's a balance there, but then there's a certain type of submission too. And I've even seen that where there's some women that I've seen on TV, because I like to watch trash TV, a lot of reality TV, where they sit up there and they're like running a lot of things. Nene Leakes, for instance, runs a lot of shit, has a very dominating personality. But in her relationship, at the end of the day, she is submissive to her now, may he rest in peace. But to her husband, Greg, very submissive when it was time to be submissive. Now, when their shit was falling apart, she was also very assertive in what her expectations were in their relationship. But when things are good and their relationship's good, she was submissive. And I think that it's just something that falls naturally. When you trust the man that you're with and you trust him to be in control of things and you have good communication, then I think it happens naturally. We just went into a whole conversation that didn't have anything to do.
That's your fault. I was just letting you talk.
What we were talking about. So that's a whole another conversation in itself. We'll add that to the list. So, anyway, I don't have an answer necessarily to this problem, but it is a problem in the Black community. And I think a lot of it falls from we don't trust each other. And that's in general. I think Black people just don't trust each other in general. We expect the fuck up. And I think we have to get out of that mentality. We have to be able to take a risk with each other, because we take risks with everybody else. And we let everybody else do dumb shit to us, and we still allow them to come back in.
And that's a good answer.
But we can't.
That's a good point.
We can't take risks with each other. There, in every community, there's gonna be people that are just shitty. In every community, but we can't take that as that's everybody. We have to accept our culture and our culture norms, and we have to love each other and take risks with each other. Don't say no. All right, baby. So here's something new that we're going to be doing on our segment.
It's new.
It's new. It's called Perfect World Scenario. And I'm going to say my perfect world scenario at some point, and Moja is going to say his perfect world scenario, which I'm going to have him go first today.
About what?
What is your perfect world scenario when it comes to what do you think things would look like if there were no gender wars?
Okay, so I would have South African.
Don't start. I knew exactly where he was going with that. Hey, that's
joking.
A whole nother conversation that we will get
excited?
into.
Why are you getting all excited? Can I say my perfect world scenario? Can I say my perfect world scenario?
If you're gonna be serious about it.
Without being interrupted, I was trying to be serious. But you
Okay.
kept
Okay,
interrupting
baby.
me.
Yes, you're right. It is your perfect world.
This
Baby.
is the toxic femininity that I speak
Not
of.
at all.
Can I talk, or you
For
gonna just
real,
keep,
no.
or are you gonna keep just
I would like to
interrupting
hear.
me?
I would love to hear your perfect world scenario, whatever it be.
Oh shit. So my perfect world scenario about this would be that there was just more positive outlets and more positive images of black relationships and black couples, and that like our men and women would understand how much we need each other, you know, and with that understanding, because it's always going to be, like you said earlier, it's going to be bad people, you know, it's going to be bad examples. But yeah, I would like it if it was just more, yeah, especially with just more positive being thrown out there. So if you hear this, man, post a black couple or post some a funny black parenting meme or something like that. You know, just get more positive images, because these celebrities gonna keep doing dumb shit and the people with the center of attention, the biggest microphones, gonna keep talking about stuff that really don't. That's not edifying for us. It's not edifying for us in any way. It's really not. It's really not. That's it. That's my perfect world scenario. That's it.
Okay, my perfect world scenario. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. Definitely, I agree with you. Shush. Definitely, I agree with you though. Like, I think that it would be the norm for there to be black couples, more positive black couples. I think in media and in music, and that we treated each other better. Like, that would be, in my perfect world, we would be treating each other so much better. We would be loving each other so much more, and we would be more patient with each other. And there would be a field of daisies that we'd all be holding hands.
Can we be done?
And in slow motion, we'd be.
No, man. Come on. Man. Come on. Didn't you say take this serious? We don't need daisies and shit. Head. What's wrong with you?
For real though.
Color purple engineers.
Anyway, but really, like, more love for each other, more patience with each other, more support of each other. And I'm saying, like,
that's a good one.
Yeah, more support of each other.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because
that's actually a really good
one. If I do something wrong, I need to be called out on it, but then I need you to just support me and as I go through my growing and my learning from whatever. I like that. I do. Like, support's important in relationships, between couples, in relationships with your friends, in relationships with your family.
I support you.
Oh no, you didn't. I support you, baby. I was going to give you a kiss, but I changed my mind because you just had to be funky.
You do support me though, like y'all don't know how many times I've came and I was like, man, literally, we wouldn't even know no gender stuff, but I done told you, like, I'm so glad that I got, you know, a woman who's like, I came in, if I just say a woman who's a woman, so people won't get it, like, but you know, like, see, and I think, that's the part of relationships that people don't see. Like, we see all the stuff that's out there, and we can talk about it. Mind you, we acknowledge fuck shit. We don't just cape up for a man can see a man, for a woman can see a woman, for black because they black at all. Dumb shit is dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
Foul shit is foul shit, right? But personally grateful. Like, no matter what, you know, I don't come home to headaches. I don't worry about, and like, we communicate to the point where, like, you know, just the other day, could have been yesterday, I was all mad at you about something. You all barking at you.
Because I was at work late.
We not gonna try to be all descriptive.
No, I'm just saying, like, you were upset because I was at work late.
And like, it didn't take an hour, and I had already, like, called her, text her, and apologized. You know, because, and I meant it.
It was really, you know? Like, no, it was really, literally probably like 10 minutes
like,
later.
Because I was getting impatient. I was starving. You know, I had somewhere to go. My son needed to be. So there was all kind of shit going on, right? Mm-hmm. But that's what mature couples do. Instead of doing some shit, mind you, we done been in places where it was like, I'm not talking to this nigga for 3 days. Fuck her. Over something just as little. Over something.
Go ahead.
Good night, y'all. If y'all looked at this to this song, bless you. And if you didn't, that's okay too, because she about to give us some bush. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I love you too. Y'all welcome.
All right, y'all. It's been real. Leave your comments in the comments section.
And subscribe to the YouTube too.
Yeah.
We didn't even say that.
So there's a ton of videos. Here's the thing. There's a ton of videos that we've posted from a few years back. And so take a look at those. Go look back at those. There's some really good conversations that we have had, and we look forward to having more really good conversations. And if you have something that you think we should talk about, drop it in there. Yeah, put it in the comments. We might be able to talk about it if we feel like it's important. And mind you, make sure that it's something that affects us as the Black community, because that's our number one thing. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
These people.
That's all. Yep. Yeah, in the broadcast.